What's your favorite room in the house? Come on, you know. The one that most of us use the most often throughout the day? Yeah, we're going to talk about that today. My name's Karen, and it's my pleasure to host you here on the Oldish TV, and we're going to talk about your bathroom. Yep, we are. We're going to talk about that. It's a really important discussion, though, and it's one that you need to get comfortable with. And since we're on Facebook and it's virtual, you can sit in the comfort of your own home and you can hear this message and think about your own situation and see what you think. I was recently attending a home modification conference. It was so interesting. It talked about home modification, but it also talked about wellness. It covered so many topics, and a lot of this stuff I will be bringing forward to you in the weeks ahead. But the most important conversation is the one we need to have first. There's a study that was done, printed in JAMA. I've got it printed out here so that I can read you the exact data because it's that important. March 22nd, 2021, so very recent. The question was, how many older adults who need equipment to help with bathing and toileting don't have it? You would be shocked at the number of people who will willingly give up their independence because they're too embarrassed to talk about their toileting needs or their bathing needs with the people that matter, their doctors, their therapists, even their family. You need to be comfortable having these conversations because it is the reason that so many people will leave an independent living situation and go into long-term care because they cannot manage their toileting and bathing. And they don't understand that there are ways to support them so that they can stay living independently. Everything else they can manage. Bathing and toileting. Let me tell you about this. This study was done on 2,614 adults over the age of 65 in the US. And what it concluded from this cohort study suggested that in the US, so this is just the US, 42% of older adults with impairments that would make bathing or toileting difficult lack equipment to assist. This is the important part. This situation is a missed opportunity to help 5 million individuals live independently and safely. 5 million. 5 million. You're not one of those. Please don't be one of those. There are so many resources out there that can help people with their independence now. And you can use your computer and Google to find them. I can tell you a really great resource that landed in my mail just a few weeks ago, and it's written by a friend of mine, Julie Sawchuk. This book, Building Better Bathrooms. And there is Julie right there. Julie, I mean, it's a whole book about bathrooms and with pictures and beautiful diagrams and measurements and all kinds of things. You can get this. You can get this at buildingbetterbathrooms.com, I do believe. She has a Facebook page, Building Better Bathrooms. She does weekly Facebook lives interviewing people. It is fabulous. This is one of those things that you really have to get out ahead of. You need to make sure that your bathroom suits you not only for the needs you have today, but for the needs you will have going forward. If you want to stay in your house, if you want to stay in your apartment or your condo, if you want to stay there, you need to get ahead of it instead of being reactive. Because as soon as you're reactive, you're making quick decisions. And, a lot of times that is when bathrooms end up looking like they're in an institution. I am here to tell you that I have seen some absolutely gorgeous bathrooms You would not know that they're accessible. You would not know the features that are universal design. They're just beautiful. We've done shows on this before. If you look over on the Real Life Renos Facebook page, I believe you'll see the shows that we shared over there. You can also look on our Instagram feed and see some pictures at Real Life Renos or Reno Studios. You can search one or the other, and you can find these pictures. Julie, the author of this book, has a beautiful bathroom. I've been in it, and she gives tours. Well, pre-COVID. She is not at all shy about sharing what she has learned and what she has built for herself. So you can do the research and understand your own health needs. For instance, you might have bad knees, or you might have hips that give you a problem, and you just think that in the years ahead, if you stay in this home, you will need some supports because you might be using a walker or a cane or maybe even a wheelchair. Remember that stuff like that tends to happen overnight too. You can have osteoporotic bones and just turn the wrong way and fracture your hip, which causes you to fall. Now, that is not the most common way that a hip fracture happens. According to the CDC, 95% of hip fractures are the result of a fall. So the fall takes place and the hip fracture is the result. So, don't get scared when you hear it the other way about. But falls are largely preventable. As I have said to you before, falls are not a normal part of aging. You can do yoga and Tai Chi to strengthen that balance reflex that you have, and that will really help. You can also pick up throw rugs. You can train your dogs and cats to stay out of your way. You can do lots of things, but there are some physical changes to your bathroom that you can make that will assist and support you, so that as your perhaps range of motion declines, or if you find yourself in need of reaching out quickly for a grab bar, maybe you get a little bit dizzy when you're in the shower. Sometimes that can happen depending on the medications that you take. There are grab bars there. Now, we've also done a whole show on grab bars. They don't need to look like those chrome ones that you see in institutions. There are some absolutely stunning grab bars that do not look like grab bars at all. Again, we've done the shows on this, so look back in our archives and you will find them. But there are bathroom tissue holders, there are towel holders, there are bars that can go in the shower. Don't look like bars, grab bars at all. Your bathroom has to be built to accommodate them. There has to be sufficient backing in behind the wall. You can't just go whack a grab bar up on drywall, because when you need it, you could grab for it and pull it right out of the wall. So, you need to kind of think about this. In terms of toileting, I maintain you should always have an electrical outlet behind your toilet. That sound weird to you? Doesn't sound weird. A bidet is something that probably a lot of you have heard about over this pandemic. You can retrofit your toilet. You can buy the big fancy all-in-one toilet that is a bidet. They're quite costly, but you can retrofit the toilet you've got. I'm going to say less than $200, but I also see them for less than $100 on occasion. And if you like to have warm water on your tushy, you want that plug in behind the toilet so that you can plug it in, and it heats some of the water so that you have nice warm water on your tushy. So, and actually Tushy is one of the brands. I'm not advertising a brand. There are lots of different brands of bidets that you can retrofit your toilet with. Do your homework. I'm not recommending one over another because I have not experienced enough of them to really be able to make that recommendation to you. But you can go on, Amazon, and you can read the reviews. You can go on Google and just Google bidet toilets and you can read the reviews. So there are those two things. We've talked about grab bars, we've talked about toilets. We need to talk about your sink as well, and the types of taps that you have. your access to things. You might not necessarily be wanting to move around a great deal when you go to wash your hands. You may want the soap right there. You may want the towels right there. And I know that sounds weird because of course they're right there. No, they're not right there for everybody. It depends on how your bathroom was constructed. The taps that you have, you want taps that you can manage. If you get arthritic fingers, you don't want little small knobs that you have to grip and turn. The new thing is touchless. Touchless taps, touchless soap dispensers. These are not necessarily expensive retrofits, but they can be a little bit pricier depending on the budget that you've got to work with. You can look them up. You don't have to do this all at once. The most important part is the physical footprint of your bathroom. If you are in your 40s or 50s and you are considering a bathroom renovation, why not renovate it so that it will do you for the rest of your life? Essentially that is what universal design is. Universal design means that it can be used for everyone. Everyone. Accessible design is a narrowing of that to design something for your specific accessibility needs. For instance, if you're blind, you may need this need. If you are deaf, you may need that need. In a bathroom, for instance, you may need to have a visual indicator to see if the smoke alarm goes off in case you're in the bathroom when it happens. That's a flashing light that's generally above the door, and you can get that installed. So, it's not only built to accommodate physical accessibility needs, but all kinds of accessible needs. So, the real message here is that bathroom is the room we all use every single day, multiple times. And if you are one of the, did I say 42%? I am pretty sure 42% of older adults who find bathing and toileting difficult, even if you are at the beginning where you are starting to find it a little challenging, it maybe takes you a bit more time because you've got to reach and turn and bend and reach things that are becoming challenging. Have the discussion with your doctor. Start there. Have the discussion with your doctor. Talk about it. Talk about what your challenges are and talk about what your goals are. And if you have a doctor that doesn't support your goals, get another doctor. We don't need to have primary healthcare providers who are saying to you, well, when you can't do that anymore, you'll just go into the home. If that's your goal, fine. If that's your goal, I'm with you. It's your decision. But if your goal is to stay independently in your own home for as long as you possibly can, then these issues need to be dealt with on an iterative basis as they come up. And you want to do it proactively, not have to do things reactively, okay? If you live in a 2-story house, you can think about perhaps you need to build a 4 or 5-piece washroom on the main floor. Maybe you need to start scoping out that space. If you don't have the budget for that kind of thing, maybe you need to start with a plan that would have you moving to a space eventually that would give you that freedom and independence of being on one level and having all of your bathroom, bedroom, eating, and visiting needs on one level. There are so many ways to approach this, but if your ultimate goal is independence, plan. Have a goal, plan, and do not be too shy or too ashamed to talk about what's going on in your bathroom, because we don't want you being so ashamed that you cannot stay there. Have the conversation. It's not as tough as you think it is. All right, folks, that is our show for today. I will bid you adieu and wish you will come back next Wednesday to be with us again on another edition of The Oldish TV. Until then, please take care of yourselves, take care of one another, and remember that it takes a village to age a senior. Bye.